let me introduce Molly. And I actually learned something about Molly through Jarvis. While writing your post, Jarvis told me that you had one of the most engaging keynotes at Social Media Week 2019. And I didn't even know it until I started using Jarvis to promote you. And I just had to make sure. So I sent you a direct message. And then what'd you say?
Yeah, I was like, totally, that was me. So Jarvis knows my soul. I'm so proud of him and grateful for him.
Yeah, this is awesome. And I'm really pumped that we pulled you up from the community. And, we first met at the Mini Chat conference.
Yeah, and even I think before that at Claire's house, at Claire Winslow's house, we had dinner, which was like, we talked more, I think, at the Mini Chat conference, but it's super cool. I love it.
Yeah, and then here we are like 2 years later now getting this webinar together. And so you live out in California, correct?
Yeah, I'm in Anaheim, about 15 minutes from Disneyland.
Do you go to Disneyland all the time?
We did, but we actually just got our tickets for now that it's opened again. We just got our tickets. It was a kind of a complicated process, but I'm super stoked. We're going to be heading there. Yeah, so I think in June is when we finally we're able to get in. So it'll be awesome.
Freaking cool. Yeah. And for your business, you help community admins grow their Facebook groups. Is that right?
Yeah, that's one piece of what we do. Our whole thing at the Prepared Performer is that we help experts and entrepreneurs to be able to grow and monetize their visibility. And so we do that with live video. We do it with organic social, like Facebook groups is a big piece of the puzzle. And then also automation like Jarvis and things like messenger bots and stuff that help to drive more human connections. So we're never using these tools to replace humans, which I think is a big thing that you guys talk about as well. We're really using it to make our human lives even better and to work with them. So it's cool.
Yes, absolutely. And it's all about the people at the end of the day, who's using the products. It's like Facebook Messenger, is a tactic. Facebook groups is a tactic. Jarvis is, all these are tools to help us. So I am going to let you take it away here.
Amazing.
As we get started, I'm going to send off a poll here into the group. I'm just curious, how many here have Facebook groups already? And that will help direct some of the Q&A at the very end. So if you could do that poll, we'll find out how large is your Facebook group, if you have one already, yes or no. And if you have any questions, I'll be on the sidelines in the chat for you to ask, and I'll be happy to pause Molly and ask her along the way.
Awesome. Can I ask you a question as we get started?
Sure,
I meant to ask you this before. So I don't even have this in my slides, but I have one really big tip that works so well for increasing engagement, and I would love to do it on this session right now.
Ooh,
it includes a giveaway. Would it be okay if I did a giveaway?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I don't know if you know this, but since we used to do a lot with ManyChat and with messenger bots and stuff like that, I actually have my own dancing robots. They're like little, almost mini Jarvises, and we give them away. So I've got a whole little box of them right here. All these Jarvises inside this box. Okay. So what we do is during our live videos, we do what we call a nugget giveaway. And I know we've got some members of our community here who know about this. If you haven't heard of it, it's an awesome way to increase engagement without having to stop and ask, like, oh, comment below if you whatever this, comment below if you do that. So what we do at the beginning of our trainings, we'll say, okay, as you hear things during this training, either a brand new nugget that you never had thought of before, maybe it's something that you learned like 3 years ago and you're like, oh my gosh, thanks, Molly, so much for reminding me of that foundation that I forgot about. All you do is in the chat, you give the hashtag nugget and you share what it was that you learned. And what this does is it allows the platform, like Facebook, it feeds the platform, or YouTube, or wherever it is that you're doing this video. It feeds the platform and tells the platform that other people are enjoying the content, so it will drive more traffic to that piece of content. It's also awesome for market research because it's a way for you to learn from your community what's resonating with them. It's also awesome social proof because then other people see the comments of what's resonating with them. So if you take that post, let's say it's on a business page, and you turn it into an engagement ad, it's already built with all this social proof in it. And then you can also use it as a great way to follow up with people. So you can do this with a video or even with a post. Like, Daniel just did a huge, awesome post yesterday. And if he at the end said, hey, share your best nuggets with the hashtag nugget, and then everybody comments with the nuggets, it's a great way to like kickstart the engagement on a post. So we can do it here, and I'll give away dancing robots.
Great. Yeah, let's do it here in the chat.
Okay. Awesome. I love it. Let me see the nuggets. Yes. Reed says nugget. Having people enter the info in as a hashtag.
Making me hungry with all these chicken nuggets. I'm here I'm 2 days into a fast, and I'm like starving right now. So you all stop posting chicken nuggets in here.
I knew you needed it.
Well, awesome. Well, I'll let you take it away, Molly.
Amazing.
Your show. I love it. I'm here on the sidelines, ready to learn.
Feel free to stop me at any time, because I'm just going to say I talk real fast. So we're going to get as much content as we possibly can into this session. And I told Austin that at the end, I've saved a whole little like bonus content if we want to dive even deeper, but I'm trying to keep this in a timely manner so that you can get started right away with increasing the engagement. So good.
Nice.
Okay. I got all you got. Here we go. So this is how you're going to grow your Facebook group with engaging content using Jarvis. And I had a couple questions come through earlier in the group, like, will this, I don't have a Facebook group. Will this work other places? Newsflash, these strategies will work on other social media platforms as well. We're just really going to focus on the community aspect and how you can bring people into your community, which will help you to make a bigger impact, and also, some more dollars, which is always good too. So those of you that celebrate Christmas, did you ever write a letter to Santa Claus? And you pour your heart and soul into this letter that you write to Santa Claus. It's like everything, all your wishes, your dreams. Well, oftentimes you don't hear back from him, right? My kiddos have actually been hearing back from Santa Claus. They get this letter back, and let me tell you, they freak out. So the idea that when you send a message out in the world, you can actually hear back from someone, that magic of the return, of the follow-up, of the actual conversation is a big part of what we're going to be talking about today. And this is often what it feels like when you're in a group. You're posting things, hoping that you can get results, hoping that people care. And it is like, ugh, because there's like a lot of times it's just crickets that we see, right? So I want it to feel like this. I want it to be this full-on party for you and your group, which, to be honest, is what we often see in the Jarvis's group right now, in the Conversion.ai community now. There's lots of conversation happening in there. And that's what makes something like come to life, right? So I decided really this is all about dancing with Jarvis. And shout out to Jill, one of the members of the community. She said, I think she was talking to Reed actually, and she said, it's like watching ballet, seeing the way that you click around on the screen. And being a professional musical theater performer for as many years as I was like, you know what? It's so right. It really is just like dancing with Jarvis. So I've decided that's the focus I'm going to take on how we can make this more fun and really make it this conversation that brings our communities to life. Okay, before we get into this, Reed is a prima ballerina for sure. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of what we're going to do with Jarvis behind the scenes, I want to make sure we highlight the concept of the social triangle. If you've heard of the social triangle before, this is a concept that I invented. Give me a love it below, because if you've heard of it, I know you love it. So here's what it is. And if it's new to you, give me new below, because I'd love to know that it's new to you as well. Whether you are on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, even at an in-person networking event, like we could use the ManyChat conference as an example where Austin and I connected, these three pieces have to be in place if you actually want to get results. So the first thing is you have to show up, like actually be there as a human being. If you think that you can automate something and just have random posts shared and you never actually show up, chances are you're not going to get great results. So you have to actually show up. The second piece is you have to make sure that your ideal client is there. And this is, if you're just starting a community, maybe they're not there yet because you just started it, but you need to know where your ideal client is so that you can talk to them and bring them to your group. And as we move forward with this, I need you to promise me that you're going to use these strategies for good, not for evil, because this isn't about going and poaching people in other people's communities. It's really about leading with service and being an awesome human being. So you want to find out where your ideal client is, what pages they're following, what Instagram accounts they're following, what books they're reading, and really doing some foundational work on that ideal client to know that you can actually show up and connect with them. So then you start actually engaging with them. You reply to things, you comment on things, you give some love in the communities where they're spending time, on the pages where they're spending time, at the events where they're spending time. Then we come to the third piece, because that really is just a straight line between you and your ideal client. If we want the algorithm to work for us, we got to put that third piece of the triangle in place. And the third piece is what I mentioned with the nuggets earlier, and this is feeding the platform itself. And what I love about this is that it works in real life. So let's say Austin and I were talking at the mini chat conference. We were in this little meeting area outside talking about all the goodness in the world that we were creating. And let's say Austin was like, hey, Molly, this mini chat conference is kind of lame. Let's go across the street to the conference over there. What do you think is going to happen from the people at ManyChat? They're going to see us leave and maybe bring our friends, and they're going to be like, dude, you're never speaking here again because you're taking people off the platform. And I have to say, this is one of the biggest mistakes that I see people making when it comes to social, is that they're sharing links to like their lead magnet or links to their products, and it breaks the social triangle. Now, this doesn't mean that you can never share a link. We like to keep it so that your links are around 5 to 10% of the content that you're putting out. Or, we'll get into this, you use Jarvis to write a really engaging post that inspires people to engage. After you get some engagement, you go back and add the link into the post up above. So if you see the post that I did in the community about this training, I didn't put the link until we had several comments on that post. Then I went back and edited my post and added the link into the description. So that's pretty good. So this way, if we have these three things in place, what happens is the algorithm knows who to show your content to. So we call this organic retargeting. Once you put these pieces in place, it's really like you have a retargeting ad that's following people around, but it's because you're using the magic of the social triangle. So that's all the talk we're going to do about the social triangle. We could spend like 3 more hours talking about it, but that's the foundation that you need to have in place for this content to work. I love the nuggets that you are sharing. Now keep in mind, it's not about more content. It's about less content and more conversations. And those are conversations that lead to conversions, because that is the real thing that we want to happen, whether it's someone saying they're going to join your Facebook group, or someone actually, throwing a credit card at your face, someone deciding that they're going to take that next step towards buying your product or service, because that's when the real impact will happen. And those conversations, I know, take time. I get it. It takes time. So we want to create conversations that scale, like this guy, Mr. Rogers. He's the best at creating conversations that scale. And in the documentary, if you've not seen it, it's so great. In the documentary, somebody asked him, what is it that led to the success of your show? He literally changed generations. I get goosebumps every time I talk about Mr. Rogers. It's so funny. But he really did. And he said the secret to it was that he was speaking to one person. So he didn't show up on his show and say, hey, everybody in the neighborhood. He said, hey, neighbor. And then he said, are you having a hard time tying your shoes? Let's go to the shoe factory. I'll show you how. Right? So even in our copy that we're writing, if we can help Jarvis to speak to one person, as opposed to starting a post with, hey, everybody in the group, because we're not reading with multiple people inside our brains. We're reading as one person. So we love to do an eye test, which is you scan your copy for how many eyes you have, how many knees you have, and you really focus it on the humans that we're connecting with. Now, just a little example. This is a video example, but I just want to show you some of the engagement that we're talking about. So this is a post about how to avoid getting flagged for engagement bait, which is something we want to watch out for. Jarvis can help us with that. We're not always saying comment below. We're because Facebook doesn't like us to be too engagement baity. We want to be a little more creative with it. So if you look at this video, you can see we had 561 likes, which is cool. We had over 1,000 comments, 1,200 comments. Where I get really excited is this. Yes, we have 81,000 views, but it's the shares that matter to me, because when someone shares your content outside before they get into your Facebook group, it's an awesome way for you to get free reach and to know that someone is putting their face, their name on your brand, which y'all know that's exactly how we feel about Jarvis. So it's such a great testament to how awesome this product is. I also want you to look at the comments. These aren't comments that are just like, yes, 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 yes. Or, some people will say, give me a 1 if you want the next tip. And then it's like 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. These are real longer conversational comments. And that's what can happen when you create content that's really engaging. So you want to create conversations. again, like I said, those conversations take time. And dude, this is why I'm so stoked about Jarvis. This was my version of a Jarvis clock, because he really does give us so much time back in our life. So the way that we're going to combine all of this goodness, these foundations with Jarvis, is this. We're going to be talking about your client journey checkpoints. And your group is a point on the client journey that can help move people toward your product, your service, your movement, whatever it is. And these are strategies you can use for your business. And I know many of you are also serving clients to build their business. So you're going to be able to take this back to them as well. It's so good. Then we're going to talk about conversation-based content and how you can create content that starts those conversations. And then we're going to get into the content machine in action. One of my favorite things about Jarvis is that these strategies that we were using to like create one post or a description or an invite to a video, we can take that and we can repurpose it with Jarvis's help. So it's been so easy to be able to repurpose our content more powerfully using Jarvis. So we're going to talk about that too. So first, let's talk about the client journey checkpoints. So the first thing is this, and you may be aware of this, but I'm just going to remind you because I think it's so foundationally important. As we are creating content, there's these stages that we want to move our clients through. So the first is the awareness phase. And that's going to be before people find your group, before they join your group, everything on the outside of your group that is shareable, where they can discover you. So that's the entry point. From there, we want to move them into this consideration phase. And one thing I love about groups, which a lot of people don't realize, is your group can be your lead capture tool. So most of us are using like lead magnets with some sort of page, like, lead pages or ClickFunnels or something to be able to capture and opt in. With a Facebook group, you don't actually even need that. You can collect email addresses that are GDPR compliant right there in the questions of the Facebook group, move them through this consideration phase, through follow-up, nurture conversations, which we'll talk about, and then moving them to the sales place as well. And then the biggest piece that I see people missing is this retention, and I'm going to add in the word referral place. And so if you have people in a community, remember that the end goal isn't always to get them to buy from you. It's also to get them to recommend you. And so this can all be a piece of what you're doing inside your group, which is so cool. Yes, yes, yes. I love it. Okay, so this is an example of what we do. Now you can take this any which way you'd like. I just thought I'd show you the one that we use, and then you can do your own version of this. We use video for our main piece of content that we're putting out every week. So we schedule this video with Be Live. You can use a blog post. You can use a YouTube video. I mean, it could be a main big post that you're posting on social, but you want to have one piece of content outside of your group that drives people to your group. Okay, now write this down because this piece is really important. This whole little map here, and what we're doing, we call it our APR system. This is a map that we use that allowed us to have a video hit a reach of 1 million organically because we followed this system, and this is what we do every week. And I've done it for years, and it's amazing. You start on this side by telling people that this main piece of content is happening. So you're going to put it in your cover photo on Facebook business page. You're going to send an email, maybe a messenger bot. That's why it's in yellow. You're going to do a post, which Jarvis will help you to write, and get people to comment below it in order to get access to this video, which we can talk about. Tell your friends and I cannot talk. Tell your friends, clients, and power partners, and maybe do some stories that lead to this main piece of content. Now, here's what's really cool about this piece of content. You are going to tell people on this piece of content that you'll give them some sort of content upgrade, like show notes if it's a video, like a download if it's a blog post. And guess where they have to go in order to get that upgrade? In your Facebook group. So we get them in, we use a messenger bot to get people in. We also talk to them via email. We get their email address, and then they have to join our Facebook group in order to get the show notes. So this little, even if you just look at it straight through the middle going across this way, that little streamlined thing that we do every week brings more and more people into our Facebook group every single week. So keep this in mind as we're going through. We also then do this, which I know looks cuckoo. This is how we repurpose all the content. So you can take a screenshot of it because it's real good, but we're not going to actually get into all of this today. It's awesome. So you can repurpose all of the content using Jarvis as well. I know it may make you feel a little crazy, so we're going to take it step by step. So when you're creating your group, you want to create a group that matters, a group that people actually care about. And so the questions that you want to ask before you launch this group are, and you can relaunch your group with this and maybe reassess. We've been doing a lot of reassessing in ours recently, which has been really fun. Oh, I'll get it back. Cam, it's okay. Let's do it. I'll leave it there for a screenshot. I can like sing a little song.
You're going to get an email with it. We'll also include the handout, which is coming later. You'll get a free download there. And then also these slides.
Yeah. So we'll send you all the slides too. I just like to engage you to take screenshots. Okay. And thank you, Cam, for saying something too. I know I go really fast. Okay. So if you're feeling a little crazy, I'm going to slow down now because we're going to get into Jarvis. So when you're creating a group that matters, you want to be able to answer these questions. The first is, who do you serve? And this is so important, which we'll get into, for naming your group, because a lot of people will create a group that's only their brand name and it doesn't let anyone know why they should join. So you want to make sure you know who it is that is the right person for your group. The next is, which solution do you provide inside your group? And I think with Conversion.ai and with Jarvis, it's been such an awesome tool that so many of us are obsessed with, that it's really, there is this brand that like we see the group and we want to join. But also for the rest of us, these little humans over here, we need to make sure that we're super solid on what solution people will be able to get out of the group. Okay, now this is really important. I'm like moving in my chair because this part is so important. And I rarely hear people talk about this, and it has drastically changed the results for some of our clients by looking at this very specific thing. So the first is, what is your human intention? So separate from what you actually want to have happen business-wise from your group, what is the human intention? And I feel that the Jarvis's community is really great on this. They're offering so much value to us, right? We know that they're here to show up and serve. Oftentimes in groups though, the human intention is kind of missing. It's all about a product. It's all about purchasing something. And if you mix that human intention with your objective, this is where you may start to have a problem. So I'm going to take some water really quick. I get excited and then I'm like, okay, so you want to have a separate business objective. Now, conversely, some people lean so much into the human intention that they forget there's actually a business point of their group. And if you mix these two things together, the intention and the objective, that's when you start to become a salesy weirdo. So we don't want to be salesy weirdos, but we do want to have a map that, that client journey in place. So you can show up from a place of giving, of service, but you make sure that your business objective is always in place so that you don't cannibalize your offers by giving so much. And we have this money map messaging that we actually map all of this out with our free services and also with our products so that our products don't cannibalize each other either. So this is really, really important. Okay, and then what's the next step? And that's where I'm doing this thing. That's what happens is from your free group, what's the next step? Now it could be that from your, I'm just gonna correct that. From your group, what's the next step? Because it could be that you have a free group and the next step, like for us, we have a free group. Our group title is Live Video, Organic Social, and Chatbots for Entrepreneurs, which is the longest group title ever. And it works for Facebook SEO. You know exactly what you're going to get when you join our group. You know exactly who it's for. It used to be called Elevate Your Awesome, which is cool and exciting, but that has nothing to do with what you're actually getting in the group. So be careful with that. Okay, so from our free group, our next step would be to join one of our programs. So we have a program called Camera Confidence. We have other programs where we show you how to show up with video. We also have a program called Glam, which is our highest level VIP coaching program, and then private consulting. On my team, we know exactly when people come into our group, we have these touch points in place to help move them through to these next steps within our community. So you want to be thinking about that. And then like from Camera Confidence, there's a next step, which would be to join Glam. So we're always thinking about the human intention and the business objective. Okay, now, when we think of that first, then we move into these checkpoints. And here's the foundational checkpoints. The first is your title. So like I mentioned, you want to make sure that your title explains who you serve and the solution that they're going to get in your group. This is most important with a free group, when it's not like product-based necessarily, when you're using it for true lead generation, so important. The next is your description. And so the description in your group, which Jarvis can help us with, is really setting people up to know what they can expect from this group, what we expect from them, and you start to hint at what's the next step for you. So one of our clients is the Thompson method. They teach, it's a breastfeeding course that they sell, and their group had over 60,000 people in it. And the problem was people were coming into this group thinking they were going to get all the free information that they'd want inside this group. Instead, we restructured their description to explain that this group is really to show you more about the Thompson method and help you identify your next step, which is to join the program. So you want to be clear about that in your description. The rules. And oh my gosh, I was playing with Jarvis last night on the rules. Austin, you're going to freak out when you see what we're going to do with the rules with Jarvis. It's so good. And I'm redoing mine because of this training. So thank you for giving the gift back to me. The rules set the tone in your group. The questions that people ask when they come into your group. Those questions are super important for market research, for knowing the pain points of each individual member that's coming into your group, for knowing where people are coming from, how they're getting there, and for asking for permission for follow-up. There's so many opportunities in the questions. Okay, and then the guides and the files. Now, if you're not aware of what guides are, it's because they used to be called units and Facebook changed it recently. But we have several groups that we used to deliver an entire course with no course management platform. Les Brown is one of our clients. We just launched a whole program with Les Brown, and inside the learning portal, there's some videos that you can get, but everything, all the homework, the next steps, all of that is delivered inside the guides, inside the group, which Jarvis can help you with. Yeah, and Les is a nugget, totally. Oh my gosh, I did a video with him yesterday. It was like the greatest moment of my life. I love him so much.
I've actually memorized multiple of his speeches.
So good, right?
I love that guy.
And he's 76 and he's still so sharp. I'm like, how are you human? I love him. And I'm so honored to be supporting them with group stuff. Like, it's exactly what we're doing with them. Okay, so then the content itself. And that's what we're going to get into. Like, how do you use Jarvis to really create this juicy content? Man, we had, and we're going to get into this template that I have for you, but we had one of our clients, she her husband passed away 8 years ago. And maybe she's even here right now. I don't know. But her husband passed away 8 years ago. And now she helps other women to be able to see that they can find happiness. They can move through moments like that to find true joy. And she said, I just don't know how I can use a tool like this because my story is so heavy, right? We used, goosebumps again, we used Jarvis to put in just a little bit of her story of how she lost her husband and how she now moved through and, you know, developed all this stuff. And it wrote the creative story, wrote an entire story that she said she was like in tears because she said that this was the first time she felt that she could really write about this because there was such a block that she had around it because there was so much pain. And I'm used to using Jarvis for things that are like funny and fun. So to see that, I was like, whoa. So the content piece is going to be so powerful. Dawn Montefusco, I see you. Dawn is an amazing coach for authors, and they're using Jarvis too, and it's so good. I love you. Okay, then you also want to help decide what's the next step. So what's the next step after they come in through all of this so that you're moving people through that business objective? Okay, are you ready? Because we're going to reveal Jarvis's magic. Dun, dun, dun. So now we're going to see how we're going to hit these group checkpoints with Jarvis. So the first one is the title. Who and what they'll get needs to be inside the title. Now, I fine-tuned these slides yesterday. This morning, I saw that Dave posted there's a brand new title generator, which was not there yesterday when I finished these slides. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it, Austin?
A few templates that we've released this week. Are you talking about the business names and product names generator?
Yes, which I was so stoked about. Cool. Yeah, so I'm sure you can actually, if you know who it is and what they'll get, Jarvis can help you to come up with titles for your group also with this business name thing. Now you want to be careful that you don't get too creative, but even I've also used the content summarizer to be able to take something that's a little long and to condense it. And that can help you to come up with that title as well. But the real thing for the title, super simple, is just who is it and what are they getting? Include that in the title. It doesn't seem sexy, but it will work. And it shows up for SEO as well. Okay, the next one is the description. Now there's a couple of these that I'm just gonna explain to you, and then we're actually gonna jump into Jarvis for more of the dancing piece where you're kind of clicking around. So for your description in your group, for me, the standard templates that I go to more often than anything are okay, Austin, because I have this musical theater background, I call it the AIDA template, but I know that's not what it's actually called. What do you call it?
Template? I'm gonna start using that one now.
Okay, I thought it was almost like, AIDA is a musical, right? It's also it's very much about like representation and equality, which I'm all about. So I think I'm just leading with AIDA so that it's like Jarvis supports that too. So AIDA template, you can call it whatever you want, which is attention, interest. My brain is freezing. Desire. So.
And action.
Action, and
awareness, interest, desire, and action.
Desire, action. And the cool thing is when you use this, which we'll get into Jarvis in just a second, that action piece in this really is a great place for you to put in that call to action that actually increases the engagement. So when Jarvis gives you that little action piece in a post, you can change that. So it's like really giving them that next step. So when you're using the description with the AIDA template, you can add in, make sure you join that, like click to join the group. Or if you have some sort of download or something that you want them to get, you can actually put that right in the description, which is forward facing, even when people haven't joined the group. And then the PAS, which is, we call this problem, agitate, solve, is like problem, agitate, solution, right? So you're going to tap into the problem, which you've already identified because you did your homework. You're going to agitate it a little bit, which I love the way that Jarvis does this for us, and then give them that solution. So those are my two favorites for your description. Okay, now I am so stoked about this one. So I'm actually going to stop this sharing because I want to show okay, so we're going to actually go into Jarvis for this one. This is going to be so cool. So if you go into your Facebook group, what you're going to see is, and I'm going to pull up my group here also, you can actually get into a section in your settings that allows you to set the rules for your group. And one of my favorite things is when I first join a group, I'm going to screen share, I love rules that are kind of funny and fun. Now, I am like the cobbler who has no shoes, and I hadn't done anything with our rules. I just left the basic Facebook rules that come with it. But every time I join another group that has fun rules, I'm always like, I should have fun rules. So thanks to Jarvis, I now have fun rules. So here we go. I'm going to screen share this. So I started it yesterday. Can we see it? You can see my rules. I don't see it on the thing. I just want to make sure. Let me know. Are you seeing my whole desktop or are you seeing just the thing? I can't hear you, Austin.
We can see your desktop and
my whole entire desktop or just the window?
Just the window.
Just the window. Okay, perfect. That's what I wanted. Awesome. Okay, so these rules here. Now, the first one that Facebook gives us is be kind and courteous. I went in to Jarvis and I just copied the text that they gave me, and I changed it to this. Be kind and courteous. We have a hashtag that we use, which is speak your kind. And so I added my hashtag, and then I changed, Jarvis wrote this part. It's important to remember that everyone has their own voice. Create a welcoming environment where people feel comfortable and respected. Healthy debates are natural as long as they involve kindness. That was Jarvis. So I haven't done the others yet, so I thought I would do this on the fly with you. What you do is you click the little three dots, you're going to hit edit rule, and then it brings up this here. Now, no hate speech or bullying is like a great foundational rule. Thank you, Facebook. But if we want to make sure this is a little bit more unique, we then can come into Jarvis. Oops. And we're going to go into the content improver. So I'm going to click on, let me go a little slower. Hold on. So right here, you're going to see all the frameworks here, right? Content improver is right here. We're going to click on this. And then I was playing with some things earlier. So here, I'm going to paste this in here. It's straight from Facebook. I didn't do anything. And for something that's about hate speech or bullying, that's something that may be empowering, it may be motivational, but maybe you want to make it funny to like lighten the idea that we're going to make sure that we're kind to each other. I'm kind of crossing my fingers because I don't know what Jarvis is actually going to say that's funny about this, but let's see what happens. And I just have it on 3 outputs. So, oh, you want to say something?
I was just saying what's cool about the tone of voice is you can really get creative there. And whatever your brand's tone of voice is, you can like put in the adjectives. Or if your brand's tone of voice is, you know, could be mirrored by like a celebrity, you could even put the celebrity's voice in there.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. I don't know if it'll work. Okay, but you can see that right here, we take bullying very seriously. Any kind of abuse is not tolerated here. So be kind, come up and see the show, right? This is Mr. Rogers. If you're ever feeling like it's not safe, we want to know. We take bullying of any kind of degrading comments very seriously at this school. They will get you in serious trouble with me. That could be kind of Mr. Rogers-y, right? In order for everyone to feel comfortable here in our group, I have some strict rules. Make sure no one is being bullied or degraded by something about themselves that can be changed, like their race. Awesome, right? Mm. So I can grab this, I can customize it, and then I just come back here and I change it out in the rules section. And this really helps to set the tone when people join your group, because it lets them know, like, oh, this is the kind of group that I'm joining. It's not just the regular standard rules, it's rules that are very specific. And then, okay, so then this is also a good point. I have the pro version of conversion.ai, which I recommend like screaming from the rooftops, because not only does it rewrite things for me, it actually gives me ideas so that I can rewrite my own stuff. So I love to just be able to use the unlimited version and do it as many times as I want. I know not everybody's going to use that. So sometimes you may need to play with it and be a little more specific.
Yep, totally.
Awesome. Okay, let's get back. There's actually one other example that I have of this, and this will be in the slides, but let me screen share this. I love the way that AppSumo has done their rules, which is totally different. And Jarvis could help with something like this so well. So let me get this. Sumo. Okay, so they actually have the way that their rules are, they're listed in the questions. So one of the questions is, these are our rules. What's the code from our rules to make sure that you've actually read them? So check this out. So they have this whole thing here where they have GIFs included. It's like, these are discussions that will take place. This is what will not take place. And they're like, they've got this guy here, which I love. It's very much like, this is what's happening. And then at the bottom of this, in their questions, they give you this code, which is that you have to use Taco Cat backwards. So you could use Jarvis to come up with something that's a little longer and more in depth, using some of the templates in the tool that can allow you to really suss that out, which I think is kind of fun.
So is this doc like linked in their rules, or?
Yeah, so they have it when you join the group. It's actually one of the questions that says our rules are here. You have to copy and paste it because it's not clickable. And then it says, read the rules and then come back with the code that we gave you in the rules. So it's like a password.
And it's not actually a password. It's just a question, but the admin will go in, and whenever he sees Taco Cat, he'll put it in. Okay.
Totally. And it says Taco Cat backwards, which, then makes it's like really enforcing their brand, which I love, because before you come into the group, you already know what you're going to get.
Totally.
I like it. Okay. So now we're moving to the next little piece, which I'm going to come back over here and share this window. All right. So then the guides and the files. Now, I'm not going to get too deep into this one because this could go on for 3 hours. But in the guides and the files section, you can use just a basic starter point is the AIDA and the PAS to write some of those things to move people through. We love to use the guides to educate and bring people through our client journey towards that next step. So play with those as well. I want to get into, though, the actual content. So we're going to get really specific about ways that you can write content inside your group and outside your group to increase that engagement. So the first thing is engaging questions. So literally, there's a template inside Jarvis called Engaging Questions. It is so flippin' awesome. And we're going to go through that in a moment. Like anytime I'm thinking, I know that I need to do something to kind of kickstart some social, I just go straight to Jarvis and I have him spit out some engaging questions and they flip and work. So we'll get into that, but like engaging questions is its own template. Ladder posts. So this is going to be a big part of what we'll focus on for the next chunk of time, because ladder posts are key to making magic happen. What a ladder post is it's a post that has sometimes a lot of like longer text. Sometimes it's just a quick little question, and you're asking people to comment below the post in order to get something. So they comment, you reply, and then you send them a message. So it really does create this ladder effect in the comments, and it creates that follow-up opportunity. It's all very much permission-based marketing. Now, I've had people, I'm obsessed with ladder posts and I do several a week, but I've had maybe out of the thousands of ladder posts that I've done, I honestly can only think of one person, literally one, who was like, oh, is this part of the strategy that you're trying to teach us? Like not giving us this information and making us comment? I'm like, yes, actually. So I just own it. And I said, and one time it was about, I had a breathing, because I'm a singer, I had a breathing strategy that I was going to show people that would help them to recover from COVID symptoms. And someone said, I can't believe you're not just sharing the strategy, that you're making people comment. And I said, I'm doing that because I know more people will be able to see it if I set it up this way. If I just shared the strategy, less people would see it. So it's actually doing a disservice to the people who could experience this value. So I own this ladder post thing as something that is like actually for the betterment of mankind.
Absolutely. And this is actually the key strategy that Dave and I used on social media to get Jarvis to our first 1,000 raving fans in 30 days, was all through ladder posts.
It works so well. And so I know a lot of people get stuck with it. And this, I know I have some Glam members here today who are probably going to be like, I can't believe she's sharing this publicly, but I'm going to give you our ladder post generator that we use in our Glam program, and you're going to freak out. Another one is polls. So the reason that polls work so well is because it's a tool inside Facebook that people have to engage on, and then Facebook rewards that engagement. So I did a poll yesterday in the group as an example, just to show that it doesn't always bring in comments, but it gets people to click, and you can see who has clicked. And then therefore it gets more reach. Oh, polls. Okay, I should have established, first of all, part of my brand is that I can't spell beans. So
Same.
just, yeah, and I celebrate it. I didn't go over my Quesadilla of Awesome framework, which is how you develop your own sense of awesome, but it's spelled wrong on purpose so that you get over the fact that I can't spell. So thank you. And also that is a secret trick on how to get more engagement, because as you see now, a lot of people have just commented saying that I spelled it wrong. And I
Yeah, people always are throwing shade on our ads when they go up live with a misspelling. I'm like dyslexic and definitely
me too.
For crap, but
we have other superpowers. I'm going to leave it there forever. I'm not editing it. Okay. Ask Me Anything. Ask Me Anything posts can be really great as well, where people ask questions below. And I love the fact that in the answers, you can use Jarvis to help answer the questions as well, not just to come up with the question in the first place. And then live videos. So I'm going to go over our little live video framework for this, which you're going to love. And Austin, I kind of was not sure if you were going to want me to share this, because I don't use the video templates. I use other things, which I think is kind of a cool way to like turn things on their head.
You know, everything that you actually use, and we can learn how to make our stuff better.
Oh, yeah? See, look at that, which I also love so much about the whole team and how you guys are so connected with the community and learning. It's so good. Okay, so the engaging questions, as I shared, you're going to use engaging questions. I'm going to open up Jarvis in just a second and I'll show you, but it's like so ridiculously awesome. The next one is the ladder posts. Okay, and this link is wrong, I realized, because I sent you a different one. So can you share the link for the ladder post generator? Because I want to stop sharing and I'm going to dive into that right now, actually. Okay.
You said you changed the link?
The one that I gave you is right.
Okay, cool.
I'm just going to edit it on my slides right now.
All right, I'm going to share that now in the group. And if you're watching the recording, it's somewhere around the video there. You can see this is a free download that Molly's put together for us. And this will help you create your ladder posts.
I think that's the spreadsheet one. Okay, good. Awesome. Amazing. I made a little pretty link for it, which let me just make sure that that's good. Jarvis. Okay, just use that one right there and we'll come back to the pretty link later. But yeah, the link is in there for the spreadsheet and we're going to go over it in just a bit. First, we're going to start inside conversion.ai and it is going to be good because we're going to start with these engaging questions. And if you didn't know this is here, oh my gosh, your mind is going to be blown. Now, as I pull this up, I would like to give you my number one engaging question. And I would love you to actually try this. So if you have Facebook anywhere near you right now, go to your personal profile and I want you to write these 5 words. Brussels sprouts, yes or no. Brussels sprouts, yes or no. This question has changed my life because your Facebook personal profile is going to blow up. People are going to like not just say yes or no, they're going to go crazy with recipes. They're going to go crazy with, my friend Jay once shared his favorite recipe, which was, yeah, you take them, you chop them up kind of fine. You put them in a pan with olive oil, some salt and pepper. You take that pan and you dump them in the trash. So people get crazy about their Brussels sprouts. This, and I'm going to see what happens. So Emmanuel, those of you that have done it, come back and let me know because I'll show you how to follow up with the Brussels sprouts. I just posted on mine. Did you do it on yours?
Yeah, I just posted on mine.
Okay, amazing. So this has worked so well that 4 people have sent me in the mail. I actually have it right there. 4 people have sent me in the mail the same dish towel that says, "Every day I'm Brustlin." So I now have been known for my Brussels sprout love. It really works. Okay, and if you've done Brussels sprouts before, do like oysters, yes or no, or smoothie diets, yes or no. Whatever Austin's doing right now, juice cleanse, yes or no. The focusing on food and making it a simple yes or no question, it brings us together with that common denominator of something that we all can talk about. And I know my good friend Rachel Peterson is going to be here in a couple weeks, I think.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, she's amazing. And she talks a lot about this common denominator idea, which is a piece of what we'll be getting into. So I love it. Okay.
Yeah, she'll be covering how to do social media and like scheduling and like create. She has like over 1 million TikTok followers now. Isn't that crazy in the last year?
It's amazing. It's so good. So
yeah, so that'll be, you can go to the Academy and see like how to register for that. It's at conversion.ai/academy. You can see all the upcoming live trainings. You can register just like this. But she is a badass.
Like for reals. Yeah. I just want to highlight also, Lori says, when I asked the Brussels sprout question, the response was, "Are you taking Molly's class?" So at this point, yes, I have taught this for like 4 years maybe. So I usually get messages at some point also, like, I can see that you're teaching because all of my friends are talking about Brussels sprouts. So it's good. You can find your own version of Brussels sprouts though. So find something that you actually love and then talk about it frequently. Okay, into Jarvis. Now, if we click on this social media tab at the top, you can see these different topics are up here, right? So if you click on social media, these are a lot of the ones that we'll be using for our social media posts. But there are some others that are really good too. We're just going to start with this engaging questions question, and you'll be able to see. So I was playing around with this, thinking of what we were coming up with for today. And I love this new inputs and history thing that you have here. It's so great. Let's say we want to do the topic. Let's make the topic motivational speaking, because we'll talk about Les Brown. Motivational speaking. And then the audience, let's say they are coaches. Okay. And the tone of voice, exciting. Let's do, we could do Les Brown. Oh my gosh, perfect. Okay. Now it's going to give me questions. And what I love also, again, is, I have the pro version, so I can just look at a bajillion questions. And not only can I just copy and paste these questions, I can use them to inspire new questions. And this is all about testing. This whole process is not something that you just post once inside your group, once outside your group, and then magic happens. It can happen that way, but you're going to have some crickets. So just know that you're committing to this. Give me the word decide in the chat, that this is all about this consistency, right? You're deciding that you're doing this. Okay. What are your thoughts on motivational speaking and why do you give it? That's weird. but that's okay. What goals have your speeches helped you achieve? Have you ever received backlash for what you said in one of your speeches? How can people reach out to you if they want to be a part of one of your next presentations? All questions that I could take and maybe massage a little bit, dance with Jarvis a little bit, recognizing that he's helping to kind of get the moves going. So like this bottom one, how can people reach out to you if they want to be a part of your next presentation? That may take us it may be a little too confusing for our community to answer really quickly. Instead, you could take this, and I would be inspired then to say something to get them to post maybe one of their live videos. Like, hey, let's do let's share. I want to see more about the presentations that you're giving. Share your live video below, which I was inspired by Jarvis to come up with that idea. I didn't just copy and paste it, right? Who's your favorite motivational speech? When or who inspired you to become a coach? Great one, because people will also then tag their person in the comments below. And that can be a really great one for getting more reach, because now you're connecting to other people who are seeing it as well. Austin, do you want to say anything about these engaging questions? Because I just think it's so simple and so easy, and a lot of people might not realize it's here.
Great for, many different purposes. I think for networking, like you can have, if when we're getting to in-person, you can have like little note cards scattered around the room with engaging questions to ask each other. You can do this for podcasting. I like when you change the tone of voice to like podcasters, like famous ones. You could do like Joe Rogan or Tim Ferriss or something like that, who ask really good questions. Since they've created so much content, it's likely that Jarvis has read some of their stuff and knows what kind of questions they ask.
So good. Okay, let's see. Joe Rogan. What can motivate a person to change his or her life? What do you find the best time to set goals in order for them to stick and develop over time? How do you know when someone is being honest with themselves and those around them about what they want out of their lives? Such a good point that if you have somebody who's already asking questions that are juicy on the internet, that's going to be a really awesome nugget from Austin. I love it. Okay, now let's move in to the ladder post generator. This is going to blow your mind. So if you go to this link, and I'm going to explain this because it may look a little crazy. This is something that we actually use for our GLAM members. GLAM stands for Go Live and Monetize. I'm going to walk you through this. So we have, you use this to generate the ideas, and then you're going to take these ideas and move into Jarvis, and I'll show you how to do that. So here, you can see we have these different categories. So there's human stuff, which is that Brussels sprouts kind of common denominator thing. There's posts where you're getting them to self-identify the problem. So you want them
a little bit.
Oh, sure. Yeah, thank you. Maybe. Can I zoom in? Oh my gosh, hold on. My trackpad isn't working.
You might be able to do like Command Plus.
Yeah, that's what I did. Oh.
Cool beans.
Okay. Amazing. So getting them to self-identify the problem. And if you click on this, you can actually see if in this top example, oh shoot, that one's from our group. That one's like a paid group. So I'll add some more examples into this one. I didn't think about that. But you can see down here, I've used this for trainings before. And so if you look at the bottom, you can see these are problems that you want people to self-identify with. So we had a member who is a travel agent, and she said she has these clueless travelers who think that they can go into the middle of the woods and find a luxury hotel. And she's like, I want to identify the people who are clueless. How do I identify the people who are clueless? So you just jot the idea down. You use this to brainstorm, and then we're going to take these brainstorm ideas into Jarvis. Okay, the next one is get them to self-identify as a client. Now, this is a post that I did inside a Facebook group that ended up bringing in over 100 comments of people who were VAs. And I want to highlight this one to really explain why this worked so well and an example of how to not do it. Because what the problem was is that one of our clients wanted to be able to sell a bot course to VAs so that they could use it to build messenger bots for their clients. I told her to go into this group and say, hey, like I said in the beginning, don't be a creeper poaching clients. Okay. So this group was not someone who was coaching VAs. It was just a group where there were a lot of VAs. So I said, go in and say like, hey, I'm looking to put together a resource of VAs to recommend to my clients. Are there any VAs here? What did she do? She went into the group and said, I'm creating a bot course for VAs. Who would be interested in it? That is not what I said to do. And she got no comments on it because she was leading with mixing her human intention and her business objective. So with a post like this, I saw it and I was like, ugh, watch. So I went into the group and I posted, I often have clients who are looking for VAs. Are you one? I'm building out a list of recommendations, which was actually my human intention. I really do think that is something that would benefit my clients. 100 people commented and shared their link to their VA services. I have that post saved in my bookmark so I can go back to it. If you're giving people a chance to celebrate who they are, it's going to be a much better way to get them to actually want to comment. Questions about that or anything, Austin?
Should we create a directory of people here in the Jarvis community that are freelancers that are willing to write using Jarvis? Because we've seen multiple job postings here in the Facebook
because
group.
you see this happening all the time where people are saying, I need more support. And it's, look at those posts, they're full of engagement. So then this is also a great thing that you as a group leader, because sometimes when too many people, just to be totally honest, when too many people start doing that in your own group, it can kind of take on a life of its own that you don't have control over anymore.
Sure.
So if instead of like not allowing those posts because they're helpful, instead you take the lead, recognize it's something that your community wants, and you then launch it, that can be so awesome.
Yeah, kind of like a job board where, freelancers that are using Jarvis can maybe find clients, and people who love Jarvis but maybe don't have the time to manage it themselves want to be able to hire somebody that's an expert using it and can crank out like a whole lot of content in less time, knowing that the quality is there with Jarvis.
Totally. That's like a perfect example of this. I love it. Okay. And I know this is kind of the meat of our stuff that we're wrapping up with. So I know time wise, I'm keeping an eye on the clock, just so you know, because I know we talked about.
We like to keep these to an hour, but if it goes a little bit over, no problem here.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. So then here, getting them to shout out power partners and tools. So here's an example. This is someone who is a relationship coach. I'm putting together a gift guide. What are your favorite things to receive as a gift for Valentine's Day? And then people comment with what their favorite Valentine's Day gifts are. And you know that it's someone who is looking for is interested in relationships even, you put that out there. The next one is I'm compiling a list of tools to help with meditation and clarity. What are your favorite ways to reset and energize? And when you say that you're putting together something that's free, like a list, a blog post, something like that, it lessens the, there's kind of some anxiety that comes in the comments. If you say, I'm launching a course on meditation, people are afraid to comment because they don't want to be sold to. So it's a big shift in that intention piece. Okay. This next one is a really good one to study as a copywriter, I will say. And I meant to say this at the beginning. I shared this in the group. Jarvis gave me a very rude answer to this. Several years ago, I was in a relationship with someone who broke up with me after 2 years. And he said that it was not because I wasn't smart enough for him, because that wouldn't be the point. Okay. His whole point was that he was a writer and I didn't follow the way that he wrote, and I didn't appreciate or have this very linear way of thinking about my writing. Do you know what that did to me as a writer? Oh, it made me hate it with all of my being. As you can see, I can't spell the word polls. It took lots of honestly therapy and self-improvement to be able to get to the point where I actually love writing, even without Jarvis now. But it took me a long time to get there. The fact that Jarvis can help me to get through this and make this even more fun and exciting is such a huge, huge thing. So if you're someone who's not necessarily in love with writing, know that this is so possible for you. And this post, this coming out of the success closet, this concept is you really owning your success. And a lot of times we get scared to celebrate our successes. But if you can lead with your success and put it out there in a way that's humble, that is inspiring, which Jarvis can help you to do, then you can actually, it can be a really great way to increase engagement because it lets others know that it's possible for them. So if you look at this, post that I shared there, that's a good example of something like that. Another one is calling out a problem in your industry. And so this is really about leaning into the idea that you're not going to be right for everybody, post there, and other problems in your industry. So it could be that you call out the problem with like automated webinars or something, and you come up with your own version of it. Someone posted in the group yesterday that empathy, anybody see that post yesterday about it was taking like PAS, but instead of calling it problem, they changed it to empathy something solved. Did you see this?
Oh yeah, I did see somebody did that. That was pretty good though. I like the way with the tone of voice with empathy. It was great.
I thought it was awesome. And somebody was saying like, this is really just problem, agitate, solve. But actually what that was a great marketer who took a framework that has been around forever and made it their own. So if you call out the problem as being everyone's focused on this problem, agitate, solve, but really we need to be leading with empathy. Empathy and problem can be the exact same thing, but you can put a spin on it. And so look at that for your framework as well. Celebrating your clients. And here's a great idea of how you can do that. We can use Jarvis for that too. And then calling out a problem and celebrating your clients is another one here. Now, if you scroll down, you can see I've used this as an example here. So I'm just going to pull one of these out. I'm going to use this No Ritz-Carlton in the middle of the woods. Okay, and we're going to go into Jarvis. I've actually used this one in Jarvis before, and it was pretty funny. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the dashboard, and we're going to pull out, we're going to use a few different ideas for this. So I'm actually going to go to the social media one, and I'm going to do a creative story about this. And I'm going to say this idea, which is there's no Ritz-Carlton in the middle of the woods. I'm going to say, hey, Judy was looking for the perfect vacation. And keep in mind, the more information you give Jarvis here, the more that he has to work with. So if you keep it so simple, like 3 words, it's going to be a lot harder for him to actually create what we're looking for. So Judy was looking for
off the rails if you don't give him any direction.
He could go crazy.
What you want. Sometimes you just want to let it go free. I made on Cinco de Mayo, a beer commercial. And I just said, it's Cinco de Mayo. Tell me about a new beer. And it just made the best story.
See, and that's true too. So you're right. Sometimes you want to give him less information to let him kind of just go with it. Right. So actually, let's try that first and see what happens if we just do that. Plot, there's no Ritz-Carlton in the middle of the woods. The tone of voice, who's like a travel writer that we could use? I'm going to go with Martha Stewart. She's not a travel writer, but I feel like that could work. Okay, now I'm going to do just the 3 inputs. And let's see what happens. And the point of this, the reason that this client wanted to do this is that she wanted to show that she can help customize. Like, it's not really about finding a Ritz-Carlton in the middle of the woods. It's about finding what it is that you love to do on a vacation and how do you love to experience it. And she can help customize that for you, but that oftentimes it's actually hard to find that perfect vacation on your own. So it was a sunny day in the forest when an old man walking down the road saw something unusual. Nestled deep in the valley where he knew there was no hotel was a tall, skinny building with no windows and balconies. So the old man went in to investigate and this strange sight. He soon found himself standing before an unassuming door that looked more like it belonged to some log cabin than an entrance to an elegant place. As he stood there looking up, wondering what to do next, it swung open very slowly as if someone had been watching him from inside, who wanted to see him come to them now. And so he followed his curiosity and walked into what turned into one of the most beautiful places. Do you want to know what this hotel was? Let me know below. That's all it takes.
Wow. I love it.
I mean, so good, right?
That's really good.
And just to be clear, like, don't say comment below, because comment is going to maybe flag for engagement bait, but say like, What hotel do you think he's describing? So what would you think? What would you say? Like, what hotel would you think that he's leading to? Can you guess what hotel he's walking into? The first one that comes to mind for me would be the Iolani in Hawaii, which is always my like favorite dream place to be. But do you see how easy that was?
So easy. Look at the other ones too. I want to see.
Yeah.
You made a couple, right?
Yeah. The squirrels.
So what I'll do is I'll like combine these together. And especially if you have the long form editor, you can go into the power mode where you would just copy and paste like sentences out of this into your working document.
So to show how to do that, you just do a new document, long form assistant, right? And you could put something. Do you suggest that you put something here to begin it, or
go
can
back
you just
a page since we're not going to create a blog post? It's kind of like
or just blank document.
Blank doc.
Okay. And then what's so cool, you didn't even have to copy those because when you click on content what was it? Creative story?
Yeah, creative story.
It's all going to be right here. Already. The squirrels were busily harvesting walnuts when they heard a rustling sound. They pulled their heads up from the tree to see what was going on. In the clearing, just a few yards away, there was an old abandoned cabin with smoke coming out of the chimney. A woman stepped outside and looked around before closing the door behind her and heading up to meet them. What do you have for sale, lady? Oh my gosh, that is amazing. Yes, and John says, as a writer, what I love about this is it gives me new perspectives, because as much as I actually have a little squirrel sitting right there, you can't really see him, but he is a squirrel. I didn't even think about incorporating squirrels into this post. Okay, I want to be, the squirrels exclaimed, oh nuts, exactly. I want to be mindful of time. So can I show like 2 more really quick ways that we can use this on Jarvis?
How audience, y'all want to see more?
Do you want to see more? Thank you. Lead with engaging questions.
All right. I think you have permission. Let's keep going.
Okay. Hooray. Amazing. Okay. So if we come back, we're in here, we go back to our idea generator, right? So if we are looking at like dispelling myths about meditation. So I'm going to take this idea and I'm going to come here and I'm going to go into, and I'm just going to stay in this power editor mode, because that's another piece of the dancing that I love, is that you really can just like bloop, 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 quick. And if you're watching someone else do a training on how they use Jarvis, it can feel like, oh my gosh, they're going so fast. But no, the more that you start playing with it, it's going to be just like choreography, and you're going to be able to jump around, So if we do this AIDA framework, and actually I have a question for you about this, Austin, because someone told me that we shouldn't actually put, I don't even remember who said it, but someone said, don't put your actual company or product name here because it can skew the answers. Is that true?
The way that Jarvis is built is to read that. So I would probably put what you have, what you're.
Okay. I mean, like, should I do, this was for Gentile meditation is who was doing this. But sometimes, let me just explain one thing that I do sometimes, but I don't know who said that and why they even said that. But sometimes I, instead of leading with the actual product name, I'll use this for like a live video training. And so I'll say, I'll put like live video training and then it'll use live video training in the actual text, which is cool.
Oh, sure. Yeah. You can do that. And if, let's say like your company is pretty new, like before 2019 when Jarvis learned the internet, then what you could do, if let's say you have a famous competitor, you could put your competitor's name in there and then you just change it out later, right?
Yeah. Is Mind Valley one word or 2?
I'm not sure.
Okay, we're just going to go with that. Okay, now in this, the product description, I think for people who are more literal than I am, where I am like a cuckoo bird, I look at product description and I'm like, product description could mean anything, right? But I think some people really might get stuck here because they're thinking they actually have to put a product description here. And this is kind of skipping to the next step, which is our live video descriptions. What I teach already in my Camera Confidence program is a slightly massaged version of the PAS formula. So when I saw in here that the AIDA framework and the PAS formula was already here, I was like, oh my gosh, because those work so well as video descriptions that set people up to be like, yes, this is for me. Oh my gosh, I have to watch this. Yes, I'm going to comment on it. So yeah. I love to use both of these as video descriptions. pretty consistently now. And that's coming from someone who has been writing her own video descriptions for 4 years and loving it, right? But this is just giving me new ideas, and it takes such pressure off. So here,
and by the way, if you add in detail, like if you keep it simple like this, it's gonna make up some fictional stuff.
Yeah.
We give it that, you know, that freedom to really be like a persuasive copywriter. But if you give it a lot of details, let's say that you're like doing an Amazon listing and you want to like copy and paste all of your bullet points about the feature, like the little intricacies that make your product unique, it'll also read that and then create a better, more accurate ad for AIDA.
Totally.
So if it's a 12-week course versus a weekend seminar, like you might want to add those details in.
Definitely. So then here I'll say something like, in this free video training, I'll show you what it's really about. Oops. And how what you've learned from the gurus out there is most likely wrong. So this can also be used to squish objections. If you know people are saying, like if you're a meditation coach and people are like, I can't think of the idea of meditating because I'm like, I want to get things done. I want to be active, right? So you can put objections in here and squish objections. So watch what happens with this. A tone of voice, mind-blowing. Tone of voice, Pema Chodron. We'll see. I love Pema Chodron. We'll see if this works with her. So I'm going to do just 3 outputs. If you have the pro editor though, like do 5 can be awesome because then you can just scan through and you can use all of them. So we'll use them in this like blog post type thing also. Let's see what's going to happen. Attention. Do you want to learn how to meditate? Mind Valley is a company that offers free video training on meditation. We teach people over our 10 years what it's like to get the most out of your practice. You don't need any experience or special equipment, just an open mind and a willingness to try something new. Meditation can help you feel more relaxed, less stressed, happier overall, healthier overall. Okay, so now this for me is more about like leading towards this attention, interest, desire is really speaking to the idea of what's coming next and all of that. It's not really squishing, like dispelling the myths. So for this dispelling myths concept, like, which this is all great and exciting, but let's try the PAS framework for dispelling the myths. I'm going to just paste the same exact thing in here. And I'm going to lead just with like meditation mastermind, more of a general one. And let's do Pema. And if you think about it, problem, agitate, solve, if I'm trying to dispel myths, starting with a problem is going to be a really great way to do that, right? Mind-blowing is like my favorite tone, Kate. And I love that you're here. Okay. When people think of meditation, they imagine monks living in cages. Or cages, oh my gosh, caves.
Monks living in cages?
Sorry, caves. That was me, not Jarvis. They don't want to be a monk. They just want to relax and get things done. If you're stressed out, like most people are these days, it's probably just because you have too much on your plate, or maybe you have or maybe nothing at all. You can feel like there's never enough time for more important stuff. Meditation can help you with that, but not the way you've been told by those gurus who make millions off of their overpriced programs and retreats. Solution. I'm going to show you how to meditate in 5 minutes a day using a simple technique called breath awareness meditation, also known as mindfulness. And this is where Austin was saying, like, check the actual details, right? That will actually reduce stress rather than increase it. And the best of all, this is something anyone can do anywhere, anytime without spending money on classes or books or expensive retreats. Do you want to know more? Let me know below.
Bingo.
So good, right? It's so good.
I think Jarvis always nails the hook in the beginning. I'm always impressed by those. I have so many just saved for later.
Yeah. I mean, and that's something else that I've done too, is like, I love having the ability to just have all the stuff that you can use again and again. Oh my gosh, should I switch to this? I wanted to show this example. This is another example of something. If you have a problem where you know you want someone to take action on something, I love to reverse engineer the action. I thought I was sharing the screen behind the scenes. I didn't realize I had already moved that quickly. But I'm just going to explain kind of how I reverse engineered this and how you could use this in Jarvis. So one of our steps in our client journey is that when people join our Facebook group, we reach out, our team reaches out and says like, hey, welcome to the group. If they have said they want someone to reach out, welcome to the group. How can we help you to get the most out of this? Kind of tell us what's happening in your business. We have little messages that we send people. The problem is a lot of those messages end up in the others folder where people don't see them. So we were on a team call and I was like, and this is me revealing all of my secrets. So write this down, but don't tell anyone. So we're on a team call and I'm like, how can we get people to see their others folder? And then I was like, well, how would it be a benefit to them if they could see the others folder? And then I remembered in a training that I did, I told our Glam members, go check your others folder. And one of our clients had someone who had reached out to him like 6 months before wanting help with their college audition. And he was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't realize this was here. So I separated the human intention and the business objective. And I said, OMG, I'm on a call and I just shared one of my favorite places to find hidden leads that most people miss. It's totally blowing minds, LOL, and it's so easy. Do you want to see it? I'll make a little video. Super simple, right? 209 comments. I made a little video. I don't post the video right there for everybody to see it right away, but the video's in our group. Then we send people to that video. Then they comment and say, oh my gosh, I saw all these people. But now they're also able to read the messages we send them.
Wow, that's very smart. I think the key there is like, how do you make the others folder valuable to them?
Exactly. And that's where you're separating your business objective between what you actually, what's actually going to matter to them. That's so cool, right?
I love it.
Okay. I'm not going to go back to my slides right now just to get to the next little thing I want to share real quickly, which is once you have created these posts, you've created live videos. On the live videos, what we also use in here, which is so beneficial, is the blog section is what we really use for our videos. So to come up with blog post ideas actually is a great way to come up with a video idea if you're thinking with the end in mind and thinking that you're going to turn that video into a blog post, which is what we do, and we want it to be SEO optimized. So we'll use that blog idea to come up with the video idea, right? And then you can use the Surfer integration, which is like so magical also. If you don't know what that is, there's a full SEO integration that works with Jarvis that we're not going to talk about today because it's too much information, but go watch one of those other videos. And then from there, for our actual videos, this is like super secret and awesome, the blog post outline. So as an expert, if you're creating videos, there is most likely information in your own brain that you have that you can deliver your content on. I believe that every one of you is smart enough to come up with video bullet points on your own. And I believe there is fear. There is like gremlins. There are gremlins. There's all kinds of stuff that comes up to make you think like, I don't know what I would write for that. So even me, which I firmly believe that I could come up with a video about anything within 2 minutes now at this point, because I've done it enough that just can happen. I still will come in here and I'll say like, anything that you want can go in this title and it will give you bullet pointed things that you can share. And if you do this, like what's an example that we could use? Who wants us to write one for them if you're in the chat?
Why don't you post in the chat? We'll do a community driven one.
Yeah. Okay, Dawn, what do you want it to be about? I see that I do. Challenges for female leaders. Boom. 5 ways to overcome challenges as a female leader. Tone, I'm just going to do empowering. And I'm going to do 5. I like to do more outputs with this one. And if you're not on the Power Editor, know that it looks a little different. But I like to bump this one up so that I can use it for ideas and kind of bounce around. Number 1, know your worth. Number 2, take care of yourself. Number 3, be confident in your abilities. Number 4, speak up for yourself and others. Number 5, don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it most. That sounds like an awesome video to me. And then, there's all these other ideas down here. Now, I am just to go back to when Jarvis said something rude to me. when I put in the story about my ex-boyfriend, the story that Jarvis put out was like, one time my boyfriend told me I wasn't smart enough, and it made me realize he was right. I was like, whatever, Jarvis. We've come a long way since then. And so here, I can pull from any of these, and then I can take them if I'm using the Power Editor, and I can post them right here into the actual Power Editor, right? And I can do the problem, agitate, solve. I can take that same, if I go here, I take this same title, and let's say I go into the title, the blog post intro. Where's the title one? Oh, so I do use the video titles for that. So I can go to video titles, put this up, and let's say female leader is the keyword that I'm going to rank for. Then I hit this, and I can come up with all of these titles, from worms to millionaires. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. My story, 6 roles I faced as a female leader in the tech industry. How to overcome challenges as a female leader. 5 powerful ways to succeed as a woman. Awesome. Really good idea, right? So then I can come here. I'm going to take just one of those. And remember, this is for my video, not for a blog post, which I don't think a lot of people think about using this for their actual videos. And I'm going to show you why this is so important in just 1 second. I'm going to go to the PAS. I'm going to put this into the description. I'm going super fast. And I'm going to say free video training. And I'm going to, Pemetrodron will work for this, sure. It's going to spit this out. Now what's going to happen here is this is going to set me up to be able to repurpose more powerfully. So I'm not even going to read it just to show you this. I'm going to paste this in here. Oops. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm going to remove the problem, agitate, solve. And now this, you should read it and like actually edit it to make sure that it's what you want. But this can be the actual intro for your video. So you're not going to read it. You're going to be a human being. But you could start, if you're like Mr. Rogers and you're talking to one person and you're speaking to the problem first, rather than a lot of people, what they do is, hi, my name is Molly Mahoney. I've helped experts and entrepreneurs to blah, blah, blah. Nobody cares. Start with them and their problem.
I love that. And what you can even add to this is if you highlight the text, let's say, look at something that's maybe more complicated. How about the second one?
This one?
No, actually in your working document.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so you can highlight that.
Okay.
And there's more tools that come up where you can even have it explain it like a 5th grader. And this is really good for videos.
Wait, can I do this right here? Or do I go to explain it like
Yeah, you can do it right there and see the little child.
Yes.
Yes. So there you go. You can have it explain it. It kind of like dumbs it down.
I didn't know that was
more
here.
Simple synonyms and sometimes analogies to help it just be easier to understand. And this is especially important in video, but it's also good for your website copy. If you want to increase conversions, that's going to, having it easier to read tone of voice will help it a ton.
If I do focus mode, this will be easier to see. So, and also it's showing, and I've got Grammarly on here, obviously, go away Grammarly, but it's showing the, watch. If I highlight this one, you can rephrase it right here.
Exactly. So if you don't like the way it's phrased, or maybe you know it felt repetitive from the last sentence, but you still had a good point in there, you could rephrase that sentence. Or if you're repurposing some of your old content and you don't want to redo that post, but you want to have a post that's similar to what you did that was really high engaging, go ahead and put your old post in there and then have it rephrase.
And then from here, what you can do is you can actually take, once you like suss this out, and what we'll do is I'll actually do our video. I do the video with just this much information. I don't write any more before I actually do my video, but then we'll take a transcription of the video and we'll turn that into the blog post. And then you can bring it back into Jarvis and you can do the SEO stuff in here. You can rephrase things in here. And what is crazy, crazy, crazy powerful, and this will be my last real nugget because I know we're like way over time, is that you, and this is going to look crazy in a good way. You can take that first post. So for us, you know, it's the video that we've scheduled with Be Live, but you can take this post, this video, whatever it is, and you can chop it up into YouTube and LinkedIn videos because you have that bullet pointed content. You can take the video and you can chop it into searchable GIFs. You can take it and you can turn it into an Instagram story. If you look at my Instagram, you can see that I've taken this content and I've chopped it up into a billion other things. And I'll actually show this real quick just so you can see it in action. But we also use Jarvis now to write the descriptions for those little posts, which makes it so much easier for my team to have my voice to begin with and then repurpose those things. When we're sending emails, we used to just take the description and kind of like reword it a little bit, but now we just take that PAS formula, the full description, we suss it out a little bit more, and we can use it for emails. We can use it for all of these different things, and it's bananas. So if you look at my Instagram, and keep in mind also, remember we said this is about conversations. So I don't have 10 million followers on Instagram. My Facebook group has about 7,000 people in it, which I'm honored to be serving those 7,000 people, but it's not like a group with 100,000 people there. We've done well over $1 million in sales for the past 2 years because we're doubling down on human connections and conversations. Here, you can see like this is the video that I did yesterday with Les, and it's just this little chopped up piece of it. And then we can take these little pieces of text can come from our bigger piece of text. We chop it up. We also can do things like this, like, oh, who's this guy? Right? And then we create these little things here, which is based on the tips. Oh, that went somewhere weird. But it's based on the tips that Dave had shared on the video. And then you can see here, this is part of the stuff that we create inside Jarvis.
Nice.
So good. So good. So I did put together like next steps for you because you may be overwhelmed, which I'll just read them to you.
We're all going to appreciate that.
So if you're like, okay, what the heck is actually happening? This was so much information. I'm skipping some of my slides. So these are your next action steps here. So that you really can come back and know that this is a parfait. You are layering these things on top of themselves. Jarvis can keep giving you life for the rest of your life. If they ever discontinue this tool, I will raise hell. So just know your action steps will be do a client journey audit. So go back to the beginning of this video, watch that little client journey thing and check yourself before you wreck yourself and make sure you actually have, you know, those pieces in place that you're moving people through and know that it's a parfait. The next thing is copy the ladder post generator that I gave you and just brain dump ideas. I've never given that away for free to anyone, but I love Jarvis so much that I'm giving it to you.
Wow.
And then
thanks, Molly.
Yeah, you're welcome. And then dance with Jarvis. Like literally, it's so much fun if you approach it from that place of I'm just playing with him, right? And then we can give away some dancing bots. It's so much fun.
I just got some photos back from some manufacturers.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Should I stop screen sharing? Can you show with us?
No, I can't show it. I can't show it yet. But yeah, it looks like some painted photos or some bobbleheads are getting built right now of Jarvis.
I'm so excited. Oh my gosh.
Limited supply. I don't know if we'll do it again. So there'll be like limited edition, you know, bobbleheads of Jarvis. Keep on your table for you.
Oh my gosh, so good. Dawn has a great question, which is how do you become a affiliate, a partner?
You can just go and apply at Conversion AI/partners. And yeah, we're going to pay out like over $100,000 this upcoming month. So it's pretty sweet. A lot of people are making a lot of money, and it's because the community, honestly, and Jarvis. Such a great product, such a great community, helpful. People like you, Molly, coming in here, sharing how to use it. All of this helps push people forward to help them hit their content goals.
And then we can have more time to like lay in a hammock and have dance parties.
There we go.
And have nugget winners. It's so awesome. Can we pick a nugget winner?
Yeah. How do you want to pick it?
Okay. I'm just going to say right away, Robert, you have me sold. So Robert already wins. It wasn't even a nugget, but he said, I'll send you a video of me dancing with the bot for your group. So my dancing videos on Instagram do better than anything else. It's like the weirdest thing ever, but I'm all about it, Robert. Send me the video. The bot is yours. And then I'm going to pick another one. So I'll pick a couple more. So just the way that we do this is I'm just going to scroll through the nuggets and then just tell me when to stop. I'm scrolling. Tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Okay. Robert, it was on your post, on your comment. Do it again. Like
and
that.
And stop.
Okay. It is Jordash. Oh my gosh, Jordash, is this you, the Jordash that I know, or is there another Jordash? Jordash says Jedi mind tricks. Love this. That is a great nugget. Jordash, if that's you that I know, I'm super excited. And then I'm super excited, whoever you are. But let's pick another one. Ready?
3, 2, 1.
Getting to the soonest nugget. It's just like regular comments. I want to find a nugget one. Okay, we're going to find it. Oh my gosh. Dawn Andrews. Her nugget is the Brussels sprouts is the largest engagement I think I've ever gotten. So clap on the Brussels sprouts.
Yes.
Oh
See how mine is doing.
So those of you, the Jordash, Robert, and Dawn, if you can email me at molly@thepreparedperformer.com, send me your email address. I mean, not email, your actual mailing address. And then also if you could just say that it's for a dancing bot, because we haven't been giving away dancing bots lately and I don't want my team to send you the wrong thing. So say that you want a dancing bot and we'll send it to you, which will be awesome.
I love it. So where can people follow, contact you, be a part of your ecosystem?
So you can go to molly.live is a great way to get started. If you go to molly.live, it's our website. You'll see there's a video content planner there. You can sign up for that video content planner. Join our group because we are, as I've been going through all the magic that I've been doing for our clients, we're actually revamping a lot of stuff in our group. So you can kind of see that process happen. We did some of this work with Jeff Walker. He's been a client of ours for over a year now, which has been so fun. We did the whole Facebook launch with him last year in April. It was so cool. So testing out stuff with him, and then also some of our other clients who are building out like the Thompson method that I shared. We've seen such awesome results with their group. So now we're putting that stuff into action in our group as well. You can hang out there with us. And I'm live most Wednesdays on our business page, which is The Prepared Performer.
I love it. Thank you for over-delivering on value here. Everybody was so pumped in the comments. One of the most engaged sessions I've seen so far. We have the next 4 weeks booked out with more and more experts using Jarvis in their day-to-day workload. And so if you would like to see those upcoming trainings, go to conversionai.com/academy. And honestly, a lot of the upcoming ones are going to be around SEO, local business, and social media. So it's stacked. This upcoming season is going to be really good.
I'm just so grateful. Austin, it's like the most magical thing ever. And my family is so tired of hearing me talk about it. I like write stories with my kids in the hot tub using Jarvis. We do so much with it. So I'm so grateful. The community, I have turned the community to have it on get all notifications instead of just highlights so that I can see everything that's happening in there because I love it so much. So I'm just so glad to be able to be here and share.
You're a big part of the community. So thank you for showing up today and helping us all out.
Yeah, love it. Awesome. Do we get to save this chat? Is this chat savable?
Yeah, I'll generate a CSV of it.
That'd be awesome. I would just love to. I know I was trying to stay focused, so I know I didn't see everything, and I'd love to be able to check in on your Brussels sprouts.
We'll see you on the inside.